And good morning. We are live on the Falcons Podcast on YouTube. Let's bring in Facebook and X just for the fun of it. Make sure we've got a few loyal Facebook people we don't want to miss, so we'll get them going on a cold and wet. It's actually not that cold yet. The cold's still coming, but wet Monday morning. Welcome in, y'all. This is the Falcons Podcast. It is Monday morning. It is a wet, dreary, dark, dank, but starting to look a little sunnier in Flowery Branch, isn't it? So we have finished the first week of free agency. Free agency opened up last week. We've got all kinds of new players that have been signed. We've got some old friends that have gone elsewhere, and we've got some not so good players popping off on the mouth on their way out the door and making real asses of himself. So we'll get into all that. But first off, we've got a little bit of news already this morning. We know that, salary cap is malleable if you've got the cash to change base salary into signing bonuses and then stretch what was supposed to be a base salary across multiple years so you get some salary cap relief. AJ Terrell has done that this morning. AJ Terrell, at least it was announced this morning. It may have been done yesterday. He converted $12 million of his base salary into a signing bonus for salary cap purposes. So he moved his 2026 salary to $3 million. And that then it stretches that $12 million across the multiple years. So probably 3 years. And his number moved down to $13.5 million on the salary cap in savings. So looks like he created $9 million in cap room with a simple restructure of AJ Terrell's contract. You can keep doing that with young players as long, Patrick Mahomes has a $500 million contract and they restructure it every year. As long as you are comfortable adding a guaranteed year onto the back end of that contract, it's something you can keep doing. When you get into trouble is when you're doing that with guys that are in their 30s and their late 30s. Then you end up with a $25 million cap hit on a 37-year-old player that you don't want to keep anymore. So that helps on that one. So that's the news. We'll get into that just a little bit. I want to say hello to some folks here as well. Cash Bag Beats, he was first in this morning. Good morning. I'm guessing it's just probability speaking. Not all of our viewers are male, but like 90% are. So apologies. Good morning, Scott and Nick. Nick's doing Broncos for breakfast this morning. We'll see him on Wednesday. Do you consider our team base level elevated after the recent additions? As Cunningham said, what impacts do they have on our day two picks? Two-part question there. Do I see the base level as elevated? Yes, I do. I think that you are shopping a tier higher for your second-level players, for your reserve players. Now, they basically have gone out and said one player isn't going to make a difference. And y'all have heard me talk about this ad nauseum, especially with draft picks. But, we say, oh, it's only $10 million in dead money. $10 million is $3 million players. Those are quality depth additions, backups in the NFL, instead of going on the 1.2 veteran minimum that you signed off someone's practice squad or that was released somewhere else. One pick, what impacts do they have on our day two picks? Maybe not any. So you're coming out of this, I think you're okay at running back. Nate Carter's still there. But I'd still like another running back. So that kind of moves it up the line a little bit for me. Corner, I feel like is still a big need for this team. They re-signed Natron Brooks, but there's no new additions there. And they haven't used a day one or day two pick in Atlanta since AJ Terrell. So it's been a while. It's time. It's coming. So I want to get back into this in a little bit. Let me put it on my notes here, actually, because I want to talk about, and we'll do this later for those of you that stick around for, the good hour. Just talk about the difference when you've got some salary cap room and the level of player you're able to get versus 2002 when you were dead broke. So, and the guys that you're able to get. So, yeah, I think the floor, so to speak, has risen up some. Which is, what you're trying to do. They went into this saying, what good would it do to get us one guy at $20 million? Do I really need John Franklin Myers that bad? Would he make that big a difference at $20 million? Would Romeo Doubs make that big a difference at $20 million? Or should I get 6 guys for roster spots 36 through 41 on my game day roster. So they needed depth, and they've gotten some. And we'll see if every single one of these guys make the team. We'll see. They might not. So, but yes, I do think so. Coming in hot this morning, holding that field. He says, I appreciate you. Right back at you. This is a great perspective and personality. Oh, you don't know me that well. This is just my on-air persona. I'm a curmudgeon in real life. Actually, I've got one of those dark, short, sarcastic sense of humors. So if you like that, you'd like hanging out with me. So that's, and I appreciate you because, again, with the way the business is, we're reliant on page views and that type of stuff. And when Google's messing with you, when Facebook's messing with you, the support that y'all show through memberships, through super chats, it makes a big difference, especially this time of year as we start easing towards the off season. Troy Green, good to see you. He just came in. How live are we? Let's see. 6 minutes. We've been in for 6 minutes. Austin, good to see you. He says, I like seeing the added depth at linebacker edge, looking for a big body, 320 plus nose tackle. Could draft that position though. If the running back from Clemson, that's Adam Randall, is there at 48, I'd be hard pressed not to take him. Now, y'all heard me talk about Adam Randall. Other folks are starting to pay attention that are just getting a chance. And I'm not saying I'm doing anything spectacular. I just happen to watch Clemson this year because, I've got the contract on SI for the Clemson site. So I watched a little bit of Clemson, and Adam Randall is freaking good. And I loved Cordell Patterson. I loved what Deebo Samuel was able to do. And this is a guy in college who is 6'2", 6'3", 220 plus, sub 4.5. His shuttle time, his quick area burst is really good. And a former wide receiver, he can catch the ball. So he's a huge weapon out of the backfield. Changed positions, selfless. And frankly, he was Clemson's MVP this year. And there's not a lot of mileage on him. They didn't burn him out. So I'm a big fan of Adam Randall, and I bet he's there at 48. Is that where you want to go with a second-round pick? He's a weapon for sure, and you can move him into the slot without a doubt. I could absolutely find ways to get him and Bijan on the field at the same time. But do you want to, use a second on another running back, or am I looking at defensive tackle? Am I looking at corner? Am I looking at wide receiver? It'd be interesting. I mean, if you want to go get good players, Adam Randall's a good player. He's a really good player. Welcome to the South, as John says. Good morning from cold Tennessee. I think I saw snow flurries. Yeah, had my sunscreen on, had the air conditioner and the heat kick on in the same day over the weekend. And it poured cats and dogs last night, and I think there's snow flurries possibly in the forecast. So baseball's supposed to be at Seckinger over near Buford today. I don't think we're playing baseball today. So might have the night off or get to work instead. Good to see you, John. Thanks for being a member. Antonio is here. Good morning. Good morning, Falcons fam. That's all y'all. GHCX is also a member. He says, good morning, Scott and Falcons family. The new era is here. And he had the news. You saw it before I did because I was getting ready for the show. I wasn't checking socials as much. It says AJ restructured his contract, opened $9 million for Atlanta. That's good. Flexibility right now. That I don't think that necessarily means they're going after a top 5 guy. I mean, remember, they still are going to have to eat officially that Kirk Cousins dead cap hit. If you look at Spot Rack right now, and it says there, let's see here, Falcons overview. It says cap space $20.3 million, but I don't think they're counting the $24 million of dead cap that Kirk Cousins is going to accrue when he's officially gone on June 1st. So I don't think that counts yet because it says a dead cap number of $60 million, but they might be counting it. They might be counting it because it's counting his cap hit as 24, but not his dead cap of 35. So the Falcons have a little bit of room, but not a ton, but there's still some moves they could make that haven't, the Chris Lindstrom is an easy one to restructure. There's still the Jesse Bates thing. Now for me, if I want Jesse Bates on the team, I really don't want to touch his contract. He is a free agent. So maybe if I want him next year, is he going to take a pay cut though? I don't want a $25 million safety next year. As much as we love Jesse Bates, he's the second highest cap hit safety in the NFL. It's a luxury that a team that is missing core components of a team really can't afford. So we will see. And Holden fan, he came in earlier, holding that field. He says, "Morning, Scott, Falcons fan in Colorado." Well, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Love Colorado. I love one of my favorite places, and working to try and get the boy over to the Air Force Academy. And if he goes over there and ends up playing a little baseball, that would be a dream. I might just move to Colorado Springs. What player on defense optimizes keeping Ulbrich as defensive coordinator? Almost said Noel Devine. Noel Devine's, if you haven't heard of Noel Devine, he broke the internet in about 2004. He looked like the Roadrunner playing football. He was just amazing. But Divine Diablo is with the all-name team, was really, really good for this team. And while Nate Landman played well for the Rams, he didn't play well. And I'm not blaming him, but it was such an upgrade going from Lake Landman to Ulbrich Devine, and what a difference he made. He's just so much faster in space, and he was asked to play in space. They're different players. They're very different players. So he was really good for this team. But what player on defense optimizes keeping Ulbrich as DC? Devine's a good one. I just think the units, the front seven, is just so much more aggressive that they've gone out and fortified the front seven. You look at defensive tackles brought in, 2 defensive tackles, Chris Williams, and the guy who is on the cover, a helping hand, Deshaun Hand, comes in at $3 million. He is a serviceable, rotational, compact. He's about 6'2", 305 pounds. He was an end. I remember scouting him in high school, and he was an end and kind of grew into a defensive tackle. So he has that quickness for being inside. 2+ edge rushers in Azeez Ojulari and Samson Ebukam, along with bigger edge Cam Thomas. 2 linebackers. So they have fortified, without a doubt, the depth on the defense. We said we wanted 2 wide receivers. They got 2 wide receivers, Olamide Zaccheaus and Jahan Dotson. Absolutely upgrades over Dylan Drummond, Darnell Mooney, David Sills. You still need more in the room. You absolutely still need more in the room. But Devine is a good shout, Holden. Let's see here. Nando, good to see you this morning. Says Rich, Raz, Scott, and Nick, and Falcons family. I told y'all that it'll be 16 to 22 new players on this roster to raise the floor in our ball club. Yeah, that was pretty. That was a good shout. I looked at the roster and I said, there's like 20 guys that are financially locked to this team. That's it. 33 are basically move-onable. Everybody else, either they're core players, rookie deals, or you're underwater on their contracts. That there was only like 20. It's going to be busy. And the thing is, y'all, there isn't anybody that's got any. They haven't signed anybody that has a guaranteed spot next year. They didn't give anybody a 3-year deal with 2 years of guaranteed money. Almost everybody, I think, except for Jahan Dotson, who's the most expensive of the signings, is on a 1-year deal. And Jahan only has 1 year of guaranteed money. So it's we will see. Michael, good to see you. He's out in Arizona, probably a little warmer out there. It's about to get kind of nasty here. Charles West, good morning. AJ, good morning to you. Thank you for being a member. D. Will, good to see you as well. Good morning, SK. Can't wait for this recap. Yeah, we can hit that again real quick as far as, again, it's absolutely the whole strategy to me was we're not one player away. Let's not act like we are. So you go quarterback, you needed a quarterback, you got one. And frankly, I'll call this, someone asked me last week, what do you think is the best move? It was Tua. I don't care if you don't like Tua Tagovailoa. I understand. I completely 100% understand. You don't think he's a guy that's going to elevate your team. Okay. He is a competent backup at worst for $1.3 million. That is a bailout from the Miami Dolphins. Thank you. I mean, would I have liked to have had Kirk Cousins on this team for $1.3 million? Absolutely. Yes, that's a bailout. Kirk Cousins is worth absolutely that much money. Think about it. Geno Smith just got traded and he got a raise. He's $20 million. would you rather have Tua on 1.3 or Geno on 20? And I've got that money to spend in other places. I got 2 wide receivers. We went through this. Got a backup center from the Titans, the 2 big defensive tackles, the edge rushers, 2 linebackers, a contributing tight end, and then what's important here, special teams. Punter, Jake Bailey, and then Nick Folk at kicker. Nick Folk is getting older. So what? He's missed 1 kick last year, and it was over 50 yards. He was 28 of 29 last season. So, Coach, good to see you. Coach Dottie, he says, miss y'all, been watching from the shadows with starting grad school. Random thoughts on the band The Firm. I don't know The Firm. It's harder to find newer music these days with streaming services. So, people say, how could you not have heard of whatever popular band that isn't in my genre? Because they don't play on my stations. And if they're not like on a TV commercial or something that's completely sold out, I've never heard of them. So, any kind of basically non-hard rock / metal, if I hear it, I have to like bring up my phone and hit search song, who is this? And I'll usually only do that if I like it. So I don't know The Firm. I don't know really anything about them. I know the book, and I actually liked, one of the few times I actually liked the movie better than the book. One of the few times. So they changed the movie around a lot from the book, and I did actually like how they handled the movie better than the book. And that's one of the few times. Appreciate you coming in, but I can't help you there. I bet somebody else can, though. So let's keep going here. And Warden, thank you for being a member. Trenton, same to you as well. Morning Falcons fan, make today a productive and or a profitable one. Yeah, both. All of the above. Yeah, and AJ says, at least we're doing better than Eli Wilkinson, apparently. So all of the nice things I had to say about Eli stepping up as a third string right tackle and doing a job. And, he wasn't good, but he wasn't nearly as bad as I was expecting. His biggest problem really was his false starts. Now his biggest problem is feeding the trolls. So there are over 1 million Falcons fans. It only takes 10. You think all of them are going to be nice and gracious? No. And I block people, not every day, but I'll block or mute people on X or in the YouTube comments that are just being a-holes. I don't waste my time with them. Well, he did. And then he got into direct messages with them. And all that stuff hit social media. And he's really made an ass of himself. So anything last week I said when I'll speak of Eli Wilkinson, I'll speak well. Yeah, that's all gone. Forget him. He's dead to us. He is dead to us. Rudy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. John Brooks says, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone made it through these bad storms. Yeah, it was nice. I didn't hear any trees fall in my yard. That seems to happen. I don't know if it was quite as windy. So hope you are doing well. And then, the snow will come and knock them down too. So when they get too heavy with any ice and stuff, snaps those pine trees in a hurry. So Halsey says, is Adam Randall Cordell-ish? He is, but he's going to make that move. He made that move in college. So if Cordell Patterson had made that move when he was, 20 years old, he could have been a productive running back for a decade. So I think he can be very similar because Cordell Patterson's a freaking unit. He's big. He's 230, 225, 230 pounds. That's where Adam Randall is. But Adam Randall's probably got just a little bit more speed. What did Cordell run at the combine? Let me see. I had 5 stars next to Cordell's name. I saw him play at junior college at wide receivers. And I didn't have to. So this one was all me. I did junior colleges by myself. I didn't have to compromise with people when I was doing rankings. So I did the JCs all by myself, and I put 5 stars next to his name. That one felt pretty good. Let's see. All pro teams? No. Combine measurements. Oh, yeah. So he came out of the combine at 6'2", 216 with a 4.42. So, yeah, he was a first-round pick. He was worthy of that. So, but Adam's a little bit bigger. It's 10 years later, but he's a little bit bigger. Similar similar type of skill set. Really good player. Let's see. Mike, good to see you. It says, if you have a franchise quarterback top 12 or higher, you have a chance. If you don't, you have no chance. Penix healthy, if healthy, is 7.2 out of 9.9. Tua is 7.4 out of 9.9. Is that good enough to make a run? I don't think either one of them are good enough to make a run right now. So, we haven't seen anything from Penix that says he's good enough. I wouldn't say we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen enough consistency from Michael Penix to know that if he's good enough to be the guy. That's what 2026 is going to be about. I mean, we're going to find out. He's going to get a chance. If he can't beat out Tua, he's not the guy. If he goes and struggles, he's not guaranteed a job in 2027. So, Mike, this is a good transition here. They did is this an overreaction on take on ESPN? I think it was Jeremy Fowler, or it may have been Dan Graziano. I think it was Dan Graziano. Yeah, it was. It was Graziano over on ESPN. And his top one, he poses a question: are J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix, are they done as starting QBs? Or actually, he poses it as a statement and then says, is this a reaction or overreaction? So they are done as starting QBs. Overreaction is what he said. What's interesting, towards the bottom, towards the bottom of this, he says, the Atlanta story is different because they feel like J.J. McCarthy was so bad that they might be in the quarterback market again. And he says, the Atlanta story is different. My sense is the Falcons view Penix as the starter once he's healthy, and Tagovailoa is just there for coverage in case he isn't ready. I'm not 100% sure. They could view him as a starter, but Tua is still going to get a chance. So I view Michael Penix as a starter, if not the starter, right now in March. Like, just if he's healthy, he doesn't automatically get the position. He's going to get the benefit of every single freaking doubt, period, because I don't think any of us view Tua as a long-term option just for health reasons. How many of us view Michael as a long-term option? I don't feel great about that either, but at least I still have the hope that he could be and want to find out. So I think that's why, you've got the upside there. You've got, I wouldn't even say the investment because these guys didn't invest in him like that. But I think you've got the hope that he can be, where with Tua, you're seeing what you can wring out of him before he has to hang him up. If he shouldn't already. I was watching just some Moneyball clips yesterday, and it was this scene with David Justice and Billy Beane. He says, let's be honest, I'm not paying you for the player you were. The Yankees are paying half your salary. The Dolphins are paying half your salary. I'm not paying you for the guy you were, Tua. I'm trying to milk every last ounce of football out of you, and you want a job in the show. Okay, that hits hard right now. We're not paying Tua for the guy that they thought he was or that he was 3 years ago. You're paying him for competency, and do you need him? I wouldn't say emergency, but what can I still get out of him? We'll see. We will see. That's great question, Mike. Appreciate it. James has come in. He's a new member. Thank you, James, for joining the nest. We had another new member too. It was AJ Moving Work, I believe. Let me look up his name real quick, because we had another new member come in, and then Pamela rejoined too, which was nice. So Pamela, I know you I don't know if it's your card falls off every once in a while, but Pamela's always making the effort to come back and join the flock. So thank you, James. It was AJ Moving Work joined over the weekend. So appreciate y'all coming in. Like I said, in an unsteady sports media business membership, it just, we talk about raising the floor. It raises the floor of what we're able to do, because it's support that is constant instead of the fluctuations that happen in the business. So thank you so much. Let's see, John. John says, Scott, have you heard anything about Henry Ruggs wanting to come and play for us? No. And I've only seen comments, in defense of James Pierce Jr., of people saying, well, Henry Ruggs is coming back in the NFL, so what makes you think James Pierce is going to be out? I haven't really looked into that because I don't want that to be true. Not James Pierce, we'll let that play out. I don't want it to be true. I don't want my team to sign Henry Ruggs. Everybody deserves a second chance. He played this, he paid his debt to society. I don't want my team. I don't want Henry Ruggs on my team. And I would look badly on a team that signed him. So that's how I think about that one. Michael, Island Mike, good to see you. Says, morning, Scott and all the other Falcons fans. That's to all of y'all. I know this guy. That's Steve Kennedy. He's got an old picture because that kid in his lap is looking him in the eyeball now. So, and is about as he's a lot of kid. David, he's a member also. He says, I take Randall at 197 at every mock. He'll be at 114. Excellent pick in the fourth. I don't know that he makes it out of day two. We'll see. We will see, but he would be an outstanding pick in the fourth. I'm not letting him get by me in the fourth. Adam Randall on that one for sure. Let's see. Big Buck, he says Colby Young had a good combine and we can get him in the fourth. If he had too good a combine, you might not be able to get him in the fourth. So how good a combine did he have? Colby Young, NFL. That's why I usually keep my spreadsheet open, but it closed and it takes a second to spin up on my external hard drive. So Colby Young combine. He came in. He only did the 40, but that's not bad. Was he the Georgia State kid? Oh, it says Georgia, the University of Georgia. So I didn't remember this, but he came in at 6'5", 218 pounds with a 4.49. That'll get you noticed. That'll get you noticed for sure. So I'm not sure where he is. Where does he on mock draft database as far as the other wide receivers go? Not that this is the end all be all. It's just a guide. That's what I told people when I was doing rankings too. Don't pay attention to any single ranking because we're going to get guys wrong, but pay attention to the trends. If I say, oh, you guys don't know anything, this 2-star outplayed the 5-star. Yeah, that happens across multiple years and multiple teams. That happens. But if you sign 25 2-star guys, you're going to get your ass kicked by the team that signed 25 5-star guys because I'm not going to miss 25 guys. So this was Colby. God, there's so many wide receivers. The fact that they still have Jacoby Lane at 117 and it says he's moved down a spot, that blows my mind. Colby Young is listed at 256. So 7th round. Yeah, I'd take a flyer on a 7. When we get down to these guys and we say, I'm looking for tools. Well, he's got size and speed. We'll figure it out. At the very least, I'll put him at gunner. I'll let him come off the edge and try and block punts at that size. Maurice, good to see you. He says, with the moves we made this offseason so far, do you think we should still draft another edge? Yes. Yes, I do. I think it's still a need because so far you've got a rotation of 4 and Braylon Trice. Do you really have Braylon Trice? We don't know. So you've got Jalen Walker. I can't count on Braylon Trice. I can't count on James Pierce Jr. So we're going to move those guys out. I got Jalen Walker and the 3 guys that were signed all on 1-year deals. So there's my 4. I might get lucky and Braylon Trice comes in and plays a serviceable edge spot. I might get really lucky and all of it turns out in a positive manner for James Pierce Jr. and it turns out to a positive manner for everybody involved. I don't want to gloss over the fact that there is somebody that is a victim here. I'm just talking purely football right now, not everything else. But right now you don't have your other guys. You had 4, and I bristled at that this week. It was like, oh, they're signing 3 edges. It sure looks like, they're not counting on James Pierce Jr. Yeah. Leonard Floyd's a free agent. Arnold Ebiketie is gone. He was a free agent. D'Angelo Malone. Yeah, you guessed it. Free agent. Khalid Kareem. Free agent. That's 4. Braylon Trice hasn't played a snap in the NFL. That's 5. And I signed 3 guys, and it makes it seem like I've got an answer on James Pierce Jr. That's idiotic. So there still needs to be more in the edge room. There still needs to be more in the wide receiver room. there still needs to be more in the defensive back room. So thank you, Maurice. Appreciate you being a member too. Let's see. Do I think Tyndall will get a fair shot? Yes, I do. I mean, right now the linebacker room is 4 guys. It's Divine. It's Tyndall. It's Christian Harris. It's JD Bertrand. Played 4 last year. So I think right now your 3 in the rotation is Divine and the 2 free agent signings. So Mike Harvey coming, he says they leaked the new jerseys. Red lost. ATL looks like the Cardinals. The red ATL looks like the Cardinals jerseys. Logo's the same, black face mask, gray or silver pants. It doesn't sound like, there's big changes. What's funny is people were debating the old logo versus the new logo. I'm like, I didn't really even notice that much of a change on the logo. So shows you how much I'm paying attention. I remember, and we don't do anything too drastic down here with the jerseys. Once they went from red to black, that was a big change. The red helmets to the black helmets, that was a big change. Since then, it's been kind of incremental changes. Nothing too crazy. I think the red helmets with the black jerseys and white pants look slick. That's my favorite look. It's not something I'm over. Not that we have any control over anything else anyway. But if I'm going to pour my angst into something, it's not typically the uniforms. So it is nice though, and if you're a Nike team, they do so many different things. So I'm more about the gear. How does what's my golf? I'm wearing a Falcons golf shirt right now. What's that stuff look like? What's my swag look like? Now that's because they haven't done anything to totally kill it yet either. I hate, y'all know, I hate the swoop logos that started when they brought the Panthers and the Jaguars into the league. Everybody went with this swoosh type of logo that makes it look like the In Motion logo or something, and everybody looks the same, and I hate them. So I really appreciate the teams that have stuck by their logos. There's the Chargers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Bears, Steelers, Falcons, Jets, Dolphins. Pretty much, they haven't changed theirs a ton. So I like the old stuff better than the USFL arena football looking swoosh stuff that they've done. So let's see here. Terry says, I'm surprised nobody took a flyer on Derek Carr as a backup. He's available. I don't think he is, though. I don't know that he is for sure, because if he retires, they'd have to work something out with the Saints. The Saints still hold his contract. So you can't just retire, sit out a year. Your contract still counts. So if I have 3 years left on my contract and I retire, if I say, hey, I want to come back, well, the Saints still hold my rights for 3 years. So, they would have to work out something. It might not be much, but I don't want, and then this contract comes with him. So I don't know if that's, I don't know that he is really available, but not too, it wouldn't be too hard to get him, honestly. I wouldn't think. And John says, who are we taking at 48? I've looked at a lot of guys, man. Keontae Scott at corner is there a lot. Sometimes Cade McDonald falls to us. Yes Major says, if we're lucky, TJ Parker falls in our lap. He was good at Senior Bowl too. Edge rusher, big edge. So, talking about the different size, Aziz and Jalen Walker and who's the one I'm forgetting? That's why I have this up. The other edge that they signed, Samson. Those guys are all under 250 pounds. TJ Parker is considerably bigger, unless I'm just completely off my rocker, which is possible. Let me bring this up, but I remember him as being a good deal bigger than that. TJ Parker, 6'3.5", 263, 4'6'8", 34-inch vertical with a 10.5, 10.1. Yes, he's listed on NFL.com at 6'4", 263. So a little bit different type. And frankly, the Falcons could use him. So, they still haven't signed that huge run plugger. Now they got Deshaun Hand, he's decent against the run, but he hasn't been great. And again, I said it's been kind of something that nobody's really talked about or really wanted to talk about. But part of the Falcons' run defense up front was Rukaroro wasn't very good last year. Now, take PFF with a grain of salt, but if I see, okay, he's a 65, okay, whatever. If he's 65 to 75, that's the same grade. Then it becomes the eye of the beholder. But Rook was the third worst run defender in the NFL. He was a 30 grade in run defense, and overall he was like a 31 and 32. So he was according to PFF, he was a bottom 5 defensive lineman. And frankly, I don't know if he was bottom 5 because I don't watch everybody else, but I know he wasn't very good. And you're hoping, because he's got all the tools in the world, speaking of former Clemson guys, he's got all the tools in the world. The guy's like a 9.9 on relative athletic score. But he didn't play his first year. So last year was his first year. And he didn't adjust or wasn't capable. We don't know yet because he took a redshirt year. He didn't adjust as quickly as Brandon Dorlus. And to be fair, Brandon, his forte isn't necessarily holding up and stopping the run either. He's a gap-splitting quickness guy who came in right up the middle of the defense and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, which is incredibly valuable, obviously. He's knocking on the door at 10 sacks, and that'll get him $20 million in 2 years. So, but Rook didn't do those things. So the Falcons need more on the defensive line. And I want them to handle Zach Harrison smarter. Zach Harrison was really, really good. If he's lined up a little farther outside, I don't want him as a standard 3 technique. I want him outside a little bit more, maybe a 4-eye. When he's out as a big 3-4 end or even a 4-3 end, he's really good. But last year he missed a game. I think he missed a couple of games. And in his first game back, he played a career high snaps in that overtime game. And we never saw him again. That was the last we saw of Zach Harrison. Another act of malpractice from the previous regime on that one, as far as I'm concerned. Let's see here as we're coming through here. Let me check my notes, see if there was anything. Some of the guys that are still out there, a couple of guys that caught my attention. We've talked about DJ Reader, or at least it's been mentioned. Hey, DJ Reader's still out there. He was $11 million last year. I don't know that he's going to take a huge pay cut. I think if you wanted to be in that neighborhood, you probably would have kept David Onyemata. Reader's 320 pounds, though. I mean, when he's good, he's really good as a run stuffer. So we'll see. Anthony's talking about Trice and Anderson need to stay healthy or let them walk after this year. Yeah, this will be 3. So you got 3 years on Trice as a 3rd round pick, or is it 4? Let me double check, because and I don't think the 4th year beyond the 1st round, I don't think it's guaranteed. So he's let's see, 4-year, $5.9 million contract, 1.3 guaranteed. So he wouldn't have any dead money. He'd have $250,000 of dead money next year. The thing is, it's not about the money, because, he's $1.8 million. It's, are you taking up a roster spot and not contributing? So that's where it becomes a problem with those guys. Keldrick Falk falls to the Falcons, just a pipe dream. Shoot, I was on and I'm not going to back off of this. I think he's got a chance to be the best defensive player in this draft. I mean, he played for Auburn. Auburn stunk. Hugh Freeze stunk. The team stunk. And Keldrick Falk is the prototype NFL guy. He's 6'6". He's 280 pounds. He can touch, both sides of the car pretty easy. He can roll up both windows. His wingspan and arms are so long. He was an edge defensive end. The way I see him is I'm not going to say if he has a Richard Seymour career, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. but coming out, that would be my comp for him. And I think he's a little bit more mobile, if not quite as strong at the point of attack. I think he's got more agility than Richard Seymour. So that'd be my comp for him. And if you had Richard Seymour in a redraft, he ain't going past the top 5. So on that one, Jaron, or is it Jaron? Mr. Tanner says Crazy Trice was a 3rd rounder. Definitely Morris and Terry's biggest draft mistake. Oh, I don't know about that. There's so many to choose from. 2nd rounder of, we can go early. We can go that whole first draft and say, Kyle Pitts. I'll move him down. How about the number 2 pick though in that draft? Richie Grant. Richie Grant was a 2nd round pick. How about the 3rd round pick in that draft? Jalen Mayfield. He started 14 games in college at right tackle and had to play guard. And after he played guard, he started 16 games as a guard in his rookie season. And then I don't know if he played again in the NFL. And the thing is they took like 5 or 6 guys from the Senior Bowl that year and took Jalen Mayfield instead of Spencer Brown. That one just blows. How are you there at the Senior Bowl and you just ignore what Spencer Brown did? If an idiot like me can pick him out, y'all should be able to pick him out. And I did up a video. I got Buffalo, the Bills Mafia got in touch with me to be a guest on their podcast after they drafted him, because I had titled it Best Prospect at the Senior Bowl, Spencer Brown. He was the best. And they took Jalen Mayfield. So we can go a long way on that. Nathan, talking about linebackers. You're right. Troy Anderson still is in the mix as far as the linebackers. You're right. He is. Anything you get out of him is gravy. That'd be nice. That'd be nice because he is a difference maker when he's out there. It's just he's just not out there very much. Unbeatable, good to see you. Good morning. Let's see. It's Wild Dog Blue says, I don't like the throwbacks. Lived through them originally. New logo all the way. I don't notice a big difference with the logos, honestly. I mean, of course, I can't tell you what color the walls are in my room. I don't pay attention to like little details like that, and they just changed them a little bit. They didn't do a full big change on those, so I don't notice little details when it comes to stuff like that. Let me see if I'm missing anything here. Okay, so I mentioned, the difference when I'm going to scroll back to the top and highlight. Was it John's comment or was it? I think it was just Cashback Beats comment. As far as, good morning, Scott. Do you consider our team base level elevated after the recent additions? Yes. And one of the things I had done was before the show, I went back and looked at the 2022 team when I said, hey, there's like 5 NFL players on this roster. And I went and I sorted by position, and I started looking at the defensive guys that were out there. And you might not remember any of these guys. You remember Dean Marlowe and Eric Harris as the starting tandem at safety? Let's see. Anthony Rush as one of the defensive ends. So Anthony Rush, he played a little bit. He was 25 when he joined Atlanta. After he left Atlanta in 2022, he has not played another snap in the NFL. I started looking at the Hade Ogundeji. You remember him starting 2 years in a row? He has played 3 games since he left Atlanta in 2022. Remember the signings of getting guys that were coming off the Titans practice squads with Smith, and then off the Bears practice squads with Pace. Seemed like every single one of them. I look at the defensive linemen. And let's see, let me go to D tackle here. It won't sort the way I want it to sort. Jalen Dalton. Do y'all remember Jalen Dalton? You remember Timmy Horn? We all kind of like Timmy Horn. But Timmy Horn, after playing for the Falcons in 2023, has only played in 1 game in the NFL ever since. Do you guys remember Jalen Dalton? Defensive tackle, Jalen Dalton. He only played in 2022. He played 7 games for the Falcons. Never played another game. You remember defensive back Cornell Armstrong? Another guy out there. He played in 2022 for the Atlanta Falcons and has appeared in 3 games since. So, again, these were the kind of guys when you're broke that you have to go and get. Now, the guys that they're replacing, they're better than that. You know, some of the guys, especially some of the guys are leaving. The Falcons are losing some high-end talent. That's why you're going to end up with some comp picks. Right now, they're in line for 3 comp picks. But when you've got 30, 40, $50 million in free agency money, you can blow it all on 2 or 3 guys. Or you can flush out the back end of your roster with $3 million guys instead of $1 million guys. I prefer the latter because there's an exponential curve when it comes to pay rate and talent. The guys at the top make exponentially more money. So if I look at a guy who's making $30 million at wide receiver, and I can't afford him anyway, is he 5 times better than the guy who's making $6 million? You know, probably not. It doesn't work out that way. You know, there's a premium for talent. How easy are you to replace? The less money you're going to make. How hard are you to replace? I can't get another Justin Jefferson, so he makes a premium. I prefer right now the method of using free agency to fill depth, and then draft your guys. You know, it seems like most of these guys that are making the huge money were drafted by that team, and they're getting second contracts on that. So, you know, that 2022 team won 7 games, and it was a really, really good job. Let me see here. Playboy Marley coming in. Good to see you. So let me ask you, do you think Ian will use Kyle Pitts to get more draft or maybe get back in the first round? It's a great question. I don't think he can use it to get in the first round. If I sent Kyle Pitts in a second, I could probably get in the first round. That'd get me up at least 20 spots. I don't think he wants to give up a second round pick, though. So I think it would have to be Kyle Pitts. And I don't think Kyle Pitts on a 1-year deal is worth a first round pick. At least that's not how he's going to be seen. You know, that said, some tight ends, and there's going to be another one that's going to go this year. Kenyon Sadiq is going to go in the first round this year, and he's going to go top 20. I've seen him as high as 15. But you've got him at a cost-controlled contract for the next 5 years, whereas you're going to have to give Kyle Pitts another contract if you were to get him. So that pushes his trade value down some. I would want a second for Pitts, and I think it's possible. In fact, that's what we have been pushing for since last year at this time. There's no way, and everybody's, you know, one player every team should trade, and it'd be Kyle Pitts to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 5th. I'm like, no, that's stupid. For $11 million, you take a gamble on Kyle Pitts, and if he has a good season, you tag him. They did. Oh, man, it's nice when they do some logical stuff. So the Falcons can make you, being in this business, doing what I do, they can absolutely make you look like an idiot all the time because they do so many things that are illogical. Keeping Kyle Pitts and not giving him away last year, letting him play on his $11 million deal, which isn't that much in the grand scheme of things of playmaking 24-year-olds. And then you tag him. If they feel good about other weapons, I can move him. If I get a deal I can't refuse, I can move him. If he says, I'm not playing on the tag, okay, well, then you can sit out. I'll move you, but it's going to be on my terms. I want at least a second for Kyle Pitts. I think it is absolutely possible. I do not think it is probable right now. I don't think this team has enough weapons where they can afford to ship Kyle Pitts out right now. I wouldn't want to give him any more than a 2-year deal. If they say, oh, he's at $15 million, $16 million, 15 is easier math, is the easier way to do things. And we got a note that says, you know, we get a release. We put out the news. Kyle Pitts just signed a 4-year, $60 million contract with $50 million guaranteed. That's basically a 3-year deal at 16 per. I wouldn't be for that. He signs 2 years, 45 with 32 guaranteed. Okay, that's 2 years at 16. That's really the contract. Okay, I understand it. I'm still not all that thrilled about it. I want to see some consistency from that man. I want to see him be a factor when Drake and Bijan are both out there too. Otherwise, I don't need to pay premium money for a third, fourth, sometimes fifth option tight end, which he tends to disappear when those guys are healthy. That's my thoughts on that. So he played his way into being a valuable asset either for the team or as a trade piece, and that was the logical move from Terry Fontenot last year. Now, he wasn't trading away his guys anyway because, he was invested in those guys, but it was still the logical move from Terry last season. So that's what I think. Wild Dog Blue says, Ian mentioned obtaining players through trade. Who do you think are trade candidates like Jesse Bates? I think he absolutely is. As TJ says, TJ agrees with me. I put that out there in January as, 5 ways to make $50 million in salary cap. And one of the big moves is trading Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates is a late 20 safety, so he's still, good for the next 2-3 seasons before he starts slowing down a little bit. Didn't play that great, relatively speaking, last year, but you know what? I didn't necessarily need him to because we were putting the quarterback on his butt 57 times for a team record last year. Best defensive back in the world is a quarterback on his hiney. So that's where I think, sorry, I'm reading T2s. I'm going to get yours next because I kind of laugh at this. Laugh at this one. But a $25 million 29-year-old safety is a luxury for this team. Now, if I trade him, I'm not getting somebody to pick up all his money, I don't think. What's his base salary? I think I can get most of it, though. His base salary is, why don't you put base salary right in the front? Because his cap hit is $24.8 million. His base salary this year is 13. He's got a dead cap of 19 with a cap hit of 25. So if I cut him right away, I save $5 million. $5.5 million. If I get someone to pick up his $13 million base, I save $18 million. Well, what are you going to do with $18 million? Well, I always forget this. This is a nice rule, and it has never been a factor for this team because they've always been cash strapped. I can take $18 million and carry it over to next year and have a third or fourth round pick to go with it. This team, the vibes that we're getting, the message that we're getting is this team is, we're trying to get better. We don't necessarily think we're good enough to make a run right now. That would fit. Hey, we want to get better for the future, starting with 2027. And 2027 with a late third round pick and an extra $15 million in salary cap room will help us get better. Then you need to find another safety. You would need to find another safety, but you would have a pick to do it. And Terry says the Falcons aren't good enough to trade a player as good as Jesse. Are they good enough to have a $25 million safety? Like I said, I think that's a luxury pick. Does it make them better in 2026? No, it doesn't. And that's where you are, Terry, I think that's where you are, hedging on this. It sends a wrong message in camp. Hey, we don't think we're good enough. That's the message it sends. And that's not a message they want to send, even if we all know it's true. Even if we all know it's true, we don't think we're good enough. And that's not a message you want to send in the summertime. It might be a decent move, though, depending on how the season plays out. He's going to be a free agent come halfway through the year. If I could trade him, pick up a 5th round pick, and still carry $7 million over to another team at the trade deadline, that's a possibility also. It's a possibility also. And let's see, TJ, T2, good to see you. He says, are we in a position to move on from Bertrand, or does the new management want to evaluate before making a decision to move on? Being that he is dirt cheap, you're always in position. I I could make some disparaging comments about his play last year, but you're always in a position to move on from a guy who's basically making a league minimum, which is what he is. So he wouldn't be hard to replace, I guess, is the that's not even that nice. I won't even say the least mean way I could put it. He wouldn't be hard to replace. His on-field contributions wouldn't be hard to replace. And financially, there's nothing tying you to JD Bertrand. So yes, you're absolutely in position. Another PR. Who are the players trash? It's just one guy. Who's the players trashing on the way out? It was Eli Wilkinson. Somebody commented like, thank God he's gone, and he chimed in, and then it really got ugly. He was, the 28-3 clown show franchise, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, thanks. You didn't really help them get better, and they paid you in the neighborhood of $3 million over your career. Don't feed the trolls, y'all. Just don't ignore him. It was definitely better. Talent is going to cost you. Yeah, it will. Talent is going to cost you. Drake will be 35. Drake is also at a premium position. 35 will put him in the top 10. He's a top 10 guy. And he's also 24 years old. So it's not like I'm locking up Jesse Bates for the next 5 years when I think I've got a window, because at the end of the 5 years, he's not going to be a $25 million safety. So that's where, as far as, Jesse, a safety is a luxury position. You're paying top 2 money for him. If I'm paying, is he a top 2 guy in the NFL? Yeah, he is, at a non-premium position. How much, and again, going back to the money, how much difference really was there between Xavier Watts and Jesse Bates as far as on the field play goes? Now, you might say that Jesse Bates was a big reason why Xavier Watts was playing as well as he did as a rookie, and that's valid. Do I still need that though? It's viable. As far as, if there weren't personalities, if there wasn't locker rooms and momentum and all the mental aspects of this game, trading Jesse Bates is a no-brainer. But these guys bring other stuff. I'd much rather would have had $18 million in salary cap space and a day 2 pick, say a 3rd round pick going into free agency and the draft than a $25 million safety for this team. I think I could have done more with that. So we'll see. We will see. But Drake's going to be expensive. He's going to be on the neighborhood of $30 million. If he gets 5 years, 30, that's 150. Call it 3 years of guaranteed, and then round up some. He'll be in the neighborhood of 5 years, $150 million with $100 million guaranteed. That's going to be Drake. And that will take him through the prime of his career as opposed to the back end, and you're hoping that when Drake is in years 2, 3, 4, and 5 of that contract, he wouldn't see years 4 and 5. They would do something else, restructure, extend, et cetera, that, the Falcons are a team, that they're a team to be reckoned with. Jesse Bates won't be here in 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years. He's a free agent after this year, because that's the other thing. What if he wants to go, Terry? What if Jesse wants to go? I don't need to let him walk for nothing, So if he's like, hey, I'd like to move on, I'm not going to re-sign, I'm not going to extend, then you risk losing him for nothing. Maybe a 4th round comp pick, maybe. But the Falcons are going to be active in free agency next year. They're looking at $160 million right now. They're going to be super active. So right now, you're looking at either I extend him, which he might not want to, and I'm still paying premium money for a safety who is knocking on the door 30 years old, or I risk losing him for nothing. So there you go. What do I think I could get for Bates? I'm hoping I could get someone to pick up most of his deal. And a late day 2 maybe, but probably a 4th. You're looking at $13 million and a 4th round pick. If he walks, you paid him $25 million and you get nothing in return. So there you go. I think that's just about everything I wanted to hit on. As always, if there was something I didn't get to, hit the comments. Very active in the comments. Try to foster the community a little bit. Want to say thank you to my Super Chat superstars. That was Holden. That was Coach. That was Mike coming in a couple times. And that was Marley. as well as James coming in and becoming a new member. Be like James. Be like James. Be a member. We're doing Falcons members only content, and we're getting a lot of participation. So we're doing Friday mornings right now. The more members we get, the more we will do. I promise you. So thank you so much for everybody being here. Y'all stay safe out there. The weather's going to get a little nasty. One last little spurt of winter before spring gets in here and we start getting covered in pollen like tennis balls. But stay safe out there. Right now, plan is we'll see you Wednesday, but as always, keep those notifications on in case something else breaks. Garrett should be here on Tuesday. I will be back with Nick on Wednesday. We'll go through a post-free agency mock draft with the two of us and with you. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you being here.